Hello, and welcome to Shakespeare 2020 LA. Shakespeare 2020 LA is the Los Angeles division of Shakespeare Project 2020, a worldwide challenge created by Ian Desher to read the entire Shakespeare canon in 2020. Shakespeare 2020 LA is comprised of primarily Los Angeles local actors, but through the magic of Zoom, we are excited to also include guests from across the country. Our reading today is The Winter's Tale, and our players are Jason Rennie, Christopher Carbo, Taylor Marr, Ron Dorn, Megan Wells, Ben Birmingham, Julie Measley Grossman, Mark Tracy, Lucas Nelson, Emily Redmond Hall, Caitlin McCormick, Laura Kovalt, Elizabeth Juvenal, Elise Ashton, Dave Demke, and I'm Mary Carrig. Today we offer a tale for winter. First published in the first folio of 1623, we visit a reoccurring theme of a father's redemption through the actions of the daughter. Jealousy rears its ugly head in a seemingly rapid escalation, social status, and the juxtaposition of the royal and the country life. Time, brilliantly personified, arrives to explain the fast forward in Act 4 as a delightful Puck-like and powerful puppeteer on humans. Robert Greene, notorious for insulting William Shakespeare, calling him upstart crow, in 1588 wrote a prose poem called Pandosta, The Triumph of Time. It was a story adapted by many writers, and Shakespeare used that same storyline for The Winter's Tale. Shakespeare brightened certain elements of it. He removed the suicide of the king and added the resurrection and the resolution to the queen's return. So sit back in your familiar easy chair and enjoy today's reading, William Shakespeare's The Winter's Tale.
Act 1, Scene 1. Sicilia, an antechamber in King Leontes' palace. Enter Camillo and Archidamus.
If you shall chance, Camillo, to visit Bohemia on the like occasion whereon my services are now on foot, you shall see, as I have said, great differences betwixt our Bohemia and your Sicilia.
I think this coming summer, the King of Sicilia means to pay Bohemia the visitation which he justly owes him.
Wherein our entertainment shall shame us, we will be justified in our loves, for indeed you will...
Beseech you.
Verily, I speak in the freedom of my knowledge. We cannot with such magnificence and so rare, I know not what to say. We will give you sleepy drinks that your senses' unintelligence of our insufficience may, though they cannot praise us, as little accuse us.
You pay a great deal too dear for what's given freely.
Believe me, I speak as my understanding instructs me, and as mine honesty puts it to utterance.
Sicilia cannot show himself overkind to Bohemia. They were trained together in their childhoods, and there rooted betwixt them then such an affection which cannot choose but branch now. Since their more mature dignities and royal necessities made separation of their society, their encounters, though not personal, have been royally attorneyed with interchange of gifts, letters, loving embassies, that they have seemed to be together, though absent, shook hands as over a vast, and embraced as it were from the ends of opposed winds. The heavens continue their loves.
I think there is not in the world either malice or matter to alter it. You have an unspeakable comfort of your young Prince Mamilius. It is a gentleman of the greatest promise that ever came into my note.
I very well agree with you in the hopes of him. It is a gallant child, one that indeed physics the subject, makes old hearts fresh. They that went on crutches ere he was born desire yet their life to see him a man.
Would they else be content to die?
Yes, if there were no other excuse why they should desire to live.
If the king had no son, they would desire to live on crutches till he had one.
Act 1, Scene 2. A room of state in the palace. Enter Leontes, Hermione, Mamilius, Polixenes, and Camillo.
9 changes of the watery star hath been the shepherd's note since we have left our throne without a burden. Time as long again would be filled up, my brother, with our thanks, and yet we should for perpetuity go hence in debt. And therefore, like a cipher, yet standing in rich place, I multiply with one, we thank you, many thousands more that go before.
Stay your thanks a while, and pay them when you part.
Sir, that's tomorrow. I am questioned by my fears of what may chance or breed upon our absence, that may blow no sneaping winds at home to make us say, this is put forth too truly. Besides, I have stayed to tire your royalty.
We are tougher, brother, than you can put us to it.
No longer stay.
1 7-night longer.
Very sooth, tomorrow.
We'll part the time betweens then, and in that I'll no gainsaying.
Oppress me not, beseech you so. There is no tongue that moves, none in the world so soon as yours could win me. So it should now, were there necessity in your request, although 'twere needful I denied it. My affairs do even drag me homeward, which to hinder were in your love a whip to me. My stay to you a charge and trouble, to save both. Farewell, our brother.
Tongue-tied, our queen? Speak you.
I had thought, sir, to have held my peace until today. You had drawn oaths from him not to stay. You, sir, charge him too coldly. Tell him you are sure all in Bohemia's well. This satisfaction the bygone day proclaimed. Say this to him. He's best from his best ward.
Well said, Hermione.
To tell he longs to see his son were strong. But let him say so then, and let him go. But let him swear so, and he shall not stay. We'll thwack him hence with distaffs. Yet of your royal presence I'll adventure the borrow of a week. When at Bohemia you take my lord, I'll give him my commission to let him there a month behind the jest, prefixing for this part. Yet, good Leontes, I love thee not a jar to the clock behind. What lady she her lord? You'll stay.
No, madam.
Nay, but you will.
I may not, verily.
Verily. You put me off with limber vows, but I, though you would speak to unsphere the clouds with oaths, should yet say, Sir, not going. Verily, you shall not go. A lady's verily is as potent as a lord's. Will you go yet? Force me to keep you as a prisoner, not like a guest. So you shall pay your fees when you depart and save your thanks. How say you? My prisoner or my guest? By your dread, verily, one of them you shall be.
Your guest then, madam. To be your prisoner should import offending, which is for me less easy to commit than you to punish.
Not your jailer then, but your kind hostess. Come, I'll question you one of my lord's tricks and yours when you were boys. You were pretty lordings then.
But we were, fair queen, 2 lads that thought there was no more behind but such a day tomorrow as today, and to be boy eternal.
Was not my lord the verier wag of the two?
We were as twinned lambs that did frisk i' the sun and bleat the one at the other. What we changed was innocence for innocence. We knew not the doctrine of ill-doing, nor dreamed that any did. Had we pursued that life, and our weak spirits ne'er been higher reared with stronger blood, we should have answered heaven boldly, not guilty. The imposition cleared hereditary hours.
By this we gather you have tripped since.
Oh, my most sacred lady, temptations have since then been born to us. For in those unfledged days was my wife a girl. Your precious self had then not crossed the eyes of my young playfellow.
Grace to boot. Of this make no conclusion, lest you say your queen and I are devils. Yet go on. The offenses you have made you will answer. If you first sinned with us, and that with us you did continue fault, and that you slipped not with any but with us.
Is he one yet?
He'll stay, my lord.
At my request he would not. Hermione, my dearest, thou never spoke to better purpose.
Never.
Never but once.
What, have I twice said well? When was't before? I prithee, tell me. Crams with praise and makes as fat as tame things. One good deed dying, tongueless, slaughters 1,000 waiting upon it. Our praises are our wages. You may rides with one soft kiss 1,000 furlongs, ere with spur we heat an acre, but to the goal. My last good deed was to entreat his stay. Was what? Was my first? It has an elder sister, or I mistake you. Oh, would her name were Grace. But once before I spoke to the purpose. When? Nay, let me have it. I long.
Why, that was when 3 crabbed months had soured themselves to death, ere I could make thee open thy white hand and clap thyself my love. Then didst thou utter, I am yours forever.
'Tis grace indeed. Why, lo you now, I have spoken to the purpose twice. The one forever earned a royal husband, the other for some while a friend.
Too hot, too hot. To mingle friendship as far as mingling bloods. I have tremor cordis on me. My heart dances, but not for joy, not joy. This entertainment may a free face put on, derive a liberty from heartiness, from bounty, fertile bosom, and well become the agent, nay, I grant. But to be paddling palms and pinching fingers, as though they are, and making practiced smiles as in a looking glass, and then to sigh as 'twere mort o' the dear, what is entertainment, my bosom lets not, nor my brows. Mobilius, art thou my boy?
I, my good lord.
Effects, why that's my bawcock. What hast smutched thy nose? They say it is a copy of mine. Come, captain, we must be neat, not neat, but cleanly, captain. The steer, the heifer, and the calf are all called neat, still virginaling upon his palm. How now, you wanton calf? Art thou my calf?
Yes, if you will, my lord.
Thou want'st a rough pash and the shoots that I have to be full like me. Yet they say we are almost as like as eggs. Women say so, that will say anything, but they were false. As ore-dyed blacks, as wind, as waters, false as dice are to be wished by one that fixes no bourne twixt his and mine. Yet were it true to say this boar we're like me. Come, Sir Page, look on me with your welkin eye. Sweet villain, most dearest, my collop, can thy dam? May it be affection, thy intention stabs the center. Thou dost make possible things not so held, communicates with dreams. How can this be? With what's unreal thou coactive art, and fellest nothing. Then 'tis very credent. Thou mayst co-join with something, and thou dost, and that beyond commission, and I find it, and that to the infection of my brains and hardening of my brows.
What means Cecilia?
He seems something unsettled.
How, my lord?
What cheer? Housed with you, best brother?
You look as if you held a brow of much distraction. Are you moved, my lord?
No, in good earnest. How sometimes nature will betray its folly, its tenderness, and make itself a pastime to harder bosoms. Looking on the lines of my boy's face, methoughts I did recoil 23 years, and saw myself unbreeched, in my green velvet coat, my dagger muzzled, lest it should bite its master, and so prove, as ornaments oft do, too dangerous. How like, methought, I then was to this colonel, this squash, this gentleman, mine honest friend. Will you take eggs for money?
No, my lord, I'll fight.
You will? Why, happy man be's dole. My brother, are you so fond of your young prince as we do seem to be of ours?
If at home, sir, he's all my exercise, my mirth, my matter, now my sworn friend, and then mine enemy, my parasite, my soldier, statesman, all. He makes a July's day short as December, and with his varying childness cures in me thoughts that would thick my blood.
So stands this squire, officed with me. We two will walk, my lord, and leave you to your graver steps. Hermione, how thou lovest us show in our brother's welcome. Let what is dear in Sicily be cheap. Next to thyself and my young rover, he's a parent to my heart.
If you would seek us, we are yours in the garden. Shall attend you there.
To your own bents dispose you. You'll be found. Beneath you the sky. I am angling now, though you perceive me not how I give line. Go to. How she holds up the neb, the bill to him, and arms her with the boldness of a wife to her allowed husband. Already, inch thick, knee deep, or head and ears a forked one. Go, play, boy, play. Thy mother plays, and I play too, but so disgraced a part, whose issue will hiss me to my grave. Contempt and clamor will be my knell. Go, play, boy, play. There have been, or I am much deceived, cuckolds ere now, and many a man there is, even at this present, now, while I speak this, holds his wife by the arm, that little thinks she's been sluiced in absence, and is pond fished by his next neighbor, by Sir Smile, his neighbor. Nay, there's comfort in't. Whilst other men have gates, and those gates opened, as mine, against their will, should all despair, that have revolted wives, the 10th of mankind would hang themselves. Physic for it there's none. It is a body planet that will strike where 'tis predominant, and 'tis powerful. Think it, from east, west, north, and the south. Be it concluded. No barricado for a belly, know it. It will let in and out the enemy with bag and baggage, many thousand ons of the disease, and feel't not. How now, boy?
I am like you, they say.
Why, that's some comfort. What, Camillo, there?
Aye, my good lord.
Go play, Mamilius. Thou'rt an honest man. Camillo, this great sir will yet stay longer.
You had much ado to make his anchor hold. When you cast out, it still came home.
Didst note it?
He would not stay at your petitions, made his business more material.
Didst perceive it? They're here with me already, whispering, rounding. Cecilia is a so forth. 'Tis far gone when I shall gust at last. How came to Camillo that he did stay?
The good queen's entreaty.
At the queen's, be it. good should be pertinent, but so it is not. Was this taken for by any understanding pate but thine? For thy conceit is soaking, will draw in more than the common blocks, not noted, is't, but of the finer natures by some severals of headpiece extraordinary, lower messes, perchance, are to this business purblind? Say.
Business, my lord, I think most understand Bohemia stays here longer.
Huh?
Stays here longer.
Aye, but why?
To satisfy your highness and the entreaties of our most gracious mistress.
Satisfy? The entreaties of your mistress satisfy? Let that suffice. I have trusted thee, Camillo, with all the nearest things to my heart, as well my chamber councils, wherein priest-like thou hast cleansed my bosom. I from thee departed, thy penitent reformed, but we have been deceived in thy integrity, deceived in that which seems so.
Be it forbid, my lord.
To bide upon thou art not honest, or if thou inclines that way, thou art a coward, which hawks his honesty behind, restraining from course required, or else thou must be counted a servant grafted in my serious trust, and therein negligent, or else a fool that sees the game played home, the rich stake drawn, and takes it all for jest.
My gracious lord, I may be negligent, foolish, and fearful in every one of these. No man is free, but that his negligence, his folly, fear, among the infinite doings of the world sometimes puts forth. In your affairs, my lord, if ever I were willful, negligent, if it was my folly, if industriously I played the fool, it was my negligence, not weighing well the end, if ever fearful to do a thing where I the issue doubted, whereof the execution did cry out against the non-performance. 'Twas a fear which oft infects the wisest. These, my lord, are such allowed infirmities that honesty is never free of. But beseech your grace, be plainer with me. Let me know my trespass by its own visage. If I then deny it, 'tis none of mine.
Not you sin, Camillo, but that's past doubt you have, or your eyeglass is thicker than a cuckold's horn, or heard, for to a vision so apparent rumor cannot be mute, or thought, for cogitation resides not in that man that does not think. My wife is slippery. If thou wilt confess, or else be impudently negative, to have nor eyes, nor ears, nor thought, then say, my wife's a hobby horse, deserves a name as rank as any flax wench that puts to before her troth plight. Say it and justify it.
I would not be a stander by to hear my sovereign mistress clouded so without my present vengeance taken. Shrew my heart, you never spoke what did become you less than this, which to reiterate were sin as deep as that, though true.
Is whispering nothing? Is leaning cheek to cheek, is meeting noses, kissing with inside lip, stopping the career of laughter with a sigh, a note infallible of breaking honesty, horsing foot on foot, skulking in corners, wishing clocks more swift, hours, minutes, noon, midnight, and all eyes blind with the pin and web, but theirs only that would unsee wicked. Is this nothing? Why, the world and all that's in it is nothing. The sky covering is nothing. Bohemia, nothing. My wife is nothing. Nor nothing have these nothings, if this be nothing.
Good my lord, be cured of this diseased opinion, and betimes, for 'tis most dangerous.
Say it be, 'tis true.
No, no, my lord.
It is. You lie. You lie. I say thou liest, Camillo, and I hate thee. I pronounce thee a gross lout, a mindless slave, or else a hovering temporizer that canst with thine eyes at once see good and evil, inclining to them both. Were my wife's liver infected as her life, she would not live the running of one glass.
Who does infect her?
Why, he that wears her like her medal hanging about his neck, Bohemia, who, if I had servants true about me, that bear eyes to see alike mine honor as their profits, their own particular thrifts, they would do that which should undo more doing, I and thou. His cup-bearer, whom I from meaner form have benched and reared to worship, who mayst see plainly as heaven sees earth and earth sees heaven, how I am galled, mightst bespice a cup to give mine enemy a lasting wink, which draught to me were cordial.
Sir, my lord, I could do this, and that with no rash potion, but with a lingering dram that should not wink maliciously like poison. But I cannot believe this crack to be in my dread mistress, so sovereignly being honorable. I have loved thee.
Make that thy question and go rot. So muddy, so unsettled, to appoint myself in vexation, sully the purity and whiteness of my sheets, which to preserve is sleep, which being spotted is goads, thorns, nettles, tails of wasps, give scandal to the blood of the prince, my son, who I do think is mine, and love as mine, without right moving to it, would I this? Could man so blench?
I must believe you, sir. I do, and will fetch off Bohemia for it, provided that, when he's removed, your highness will take again your queen as yours at first, even for your son's sake, and thereby foresealing the injury of tongues in courts and kingdoms known and allied to yours.
Thou dost advise me. Even so, as I mine own course have set down, I'll give no blemish to her honor, none.
My lord, go then, and with a countenance as clear as friendship wears at feasts, keep with Bohemia and with your queen. I am his cupbearer. If from me he have wholesome beverage, account me not your servant.
This is all. Do it, and thou hast the one half of my heart. Do it not, thou splitst thine own.
I'll do it, my
I will seem friendly, as thou hast advised me.
Oh, miserable lady! But for me, what case stand I in? I must be the poisoner of good Polixenes, and my ground to do it is the obedience to a master, one who in rebellion with himself will have all that are his so too. To do this deed, promotion follows. If I could find example of thousands that have struck anointed kings and flourished after, I'd not do it. But since nor brass, nor stone, nor parchment bears not one, let villainy itself forswear it. I must forsake the court. To do it or no is certain to me a breakneck. Happy star reign now. Here comes Bohemia.
This is strange. Methinks my favor here begins to warp, not speak. Good day, Camillo.
Hail, most royal sir.
What is the news of the court?
None rare, my lord.
The king hath on him such a countenance as he had lost some province and a region loved as he loves himself. Even now I met him with customary compliment when he, wafting his eyes to the contrary and falling a lip of much contempt, speeds from me, and so leaves me to consider what is breeding that changes thus his manners.
I dare not know, my lord.
How dare not? Do not? Do you know and dare not? Be intelligent to me, 'tis thereabouts. For to yourself, what you do know, you must, and cannot say you dare not. Good Camillo, your changed complexions are to me a mirror which shows me mine changed too, for I must be a party in this alteration, finding myself thus altered with.
There is a sickness which puts some of us in distemper, but I cannot name the disease, and it is caught of you that yet are well.
How caught of me? Make me not cited like the basilisk. I have looked on thousands to have sped the better by my regard, but killed none so. Camillo, as you are certainly a gentleman, thereto clerk-like experienced, which no less adorns our gentry than our parents' nobles' names, in whose success we are gentle, I beseech you, if you know aught which does behoove my knowledge thereof to be informed, imprisoned not in ignorant concealment.
I may not answer.
A sickness caught of me, and yet I well? I must be answered. Dost thou hear, Camillo? I conjure thee by all the parts of man which honor does acknowledge, whereof the least is not this suit of mine, that thou declare what incidency thou dost guess of harm is creeping toward me. How far off? How near? Which way to be prevented, if to be? If not, how best to bear it?
Sir, I will tell you. Since I am charged in honor, and by him that I think honorable, therefore, mark my counsel, which must be e'en as swiftly followed as I mean to utter it, or both yourself and me cry lost, and so good night.
On, good Camillo.
I am appointed him to murder you.
By whom, Camillo?
By the king.
For what?
He thinks, nay, with all confidence he swears, as he had seen or had been an instrument to vice you to it, that you have touched his queen forbiddenly.
Oh, then by my best blood turn to an infected jelly, and my name be yoked with his that did betray the best. Turn then my freshest reputation to a savor that may strike the dullest nostril when I arrive, and my approach be shunned, nay, hated too, worse than the greatest infection that e'er was heard or read.
Swear his thought over by each particular star in heaven, and by all their influences you may as well forbid the sea for to obey the moon, or as by oath remove or counsel shake the fabric of his folly, whose foundation is piled upon his faith, and will continue the standing of his body.
How should this grow?
I know not, but I am sure 'tis safer to avoid what's grown than question how 'tis born. If therefore you dare trust my honesty, that lies enclosed in this trunk which you shall bear along impawned away tonight, your followers I will whisper to the business, and will by twos and threes at several posterns clear them of the city. For myself, I'll put my fortunes to your service, which are here by this discovery lost. Be not uncertain, for by the honor of my parents I have uttered truth, which if you seek to prove, I dare not stand by, nor shall you be safer than one condemned by the king's own mouth thereon his execution swore.
I do believe thee. I saw his heart in his face. Give me thy hand. Be pilot to me, and thy places shall still neighbor mine. My ships are ready, and my people did expect my hence departure 2 days ago. This jealousy is for a precious creature. As she's rare, must it be great. And as his person's mighty, must it be violent. And as he does conceive he is dishonored by a man which ever professed to him, why, his revenges must in that be made more bitter. fear o'ershades me. Good expedition, be my friend, and comfort the gracious queen. Part of his theme, but nothing of his ill-ta'en suspicion. Come, Camillo, I will respect thee as a father if thou bear'st my life off hence. Let us avoid.
It is in mine authority to command the keys of all the posterns, please, your highness, to take the urgent hour. Come, sir, away!
Act 2, Scene 1. Cecilia, a room in the palace. Enter Hermione, Mamillius, and ladies.
Take the boy to you. He so troubles me, 'tis past enduring.
Come, my gracious lord, shall I be your playfellow?
No, I'll none of you.
Why, sweet lord?
You kiss me hard and speak to me as if I were a baby still. I love you better.
And why so, my lord?
Not for because your brows are blacker. Yet black brows, they say, become some women best, so that there be not too much hair there, but in a semicircle, or a half moon made with a pen.
Who taught you this?
I learnt it out of women's faces. Pray now, what color are your eyebrows?
Blue, my lord.
Nay, that's a mock. I've seen a lady's nose that has been blue, but not her eyebrows.
Hark ye, the queen your mother rounds apace. We shall present our services to a fine new prince one of these days, and then you'd be wanton with us, if we would have you.
She is spread of late into a goodly bulk. Good time encounter her.
What wisdom stirs amongst you? Come, sir, now I am for you again. Pray you sit by us and tell us a tale.
Merry or sad shall it be?
As merry as you will.
A sad tale's best for winter. I have one of sprites and goblins.
Let's have that, good sir. Come on, sit down. Come on and do your best to fright me with your sprites. You're powerful at it.
There was a man.
Nay, come sit down then on.
Dwelt by a churchyard. I will tell it softly. Yon crickets shall not hear it.
Come on then and give it me in mine ear.
Was he met there, his train? Camilla with him?
Behind the tuft of pines I met them. Never saw I men scour on their way. I eyed them even to their ships.
How blessed am I in my just censure, in my true opinion. Alack for lesser knowledge, how accursed in being so blessed. There may be a cup, a spider steeped, and may drink, depart, and yet partake no venom, for his knowledge is not infected. But if one present the abhorred ingredient to his eye, make known how he hath drunk, he cracks his gorge, his sides with violent hefts. I have drunk and seen the spire. Camilla was his help in this, his pander. There is a plot against my life, my crown. All's true that is mistrusted. That false villain whom I employed was pre-employed by him. He has discovered my design, and I remain a pinched thing, yea, a very trick for them to play at will. How came the posterns so easily open?
By his great authority, which often hath no less prevailed than so on your command.
I know it too well. Give me the boy. I am glad you did not nurse him. Though he does bear some signs of me, yet you have too much blood in him.
What is this, sport?
Bear the boy hence. He shall not come about her. Away with him, and let her sport herself with that she's big with, for 'tis Polixenes has made thee swell thus.
But I'd say he had not. And I'll be sworn you would believe my saying, however you lean into the nay word.
You, my lords, look on her, mark her well. Be but about to say she is a goodly lady, and the justice of your hearts will thereto add, 'tis pity she's not honest, honorable. Praise her but for this, her without door form, which on my faith deserves high speech, and straight the shrug, the hum, or ha, these petty brands that calumny doth use. Oh, I am out. That mercy does, for calumny will sear virtue itself. These shrugs, these hums and ha's, when you have said she's goodly, come between, ere you can say she's honest. But be it known, from him that has most cause to grieve, it should be she's an adulteress.
Should a villain say so? The most replenished villain in the world? You were as much more villain, you, my lord, but do mistake.
You have mistook, my lady, Polixenes for Leontes. Oh, thou thing, which I'll not call a creature of thy place, lest barbarism, making me precedent, should like a language used to all degrees and mannerly distinguishment leave out betwixt the prince and beggar. I have said she's an adulteress. I have said with whom? More, she's a traitor, and Camillo is a federy with her, and one that knows what she should shame to know herself, but with her most vile principle, that she's a bed-swerver, even as bad as those that vulgars give bold titles, aye, and privy to this their late escape.
No, but my life. Privy to none of this, how will this grieve you when you shall come to clearer knowledge that you have thus published me, gentle my lord? You scarce can write me thoroughly than to say you did mistake.
No, if I mistake in those foundations which I build upon, the center is not big enough to bear a schoolboy's top. Away with her to prison. He who shall speak for her is far off guilty, but he that speaks.
There's some ill planet reigns. I must be patient till the heavens look with an aspect more favorable. Good my lords, I am not prone to weeping as our sex commonly are, and want of which vain dew perchance shall dry your pities. But I have that honorable grief lodged here, which burns worse than tears drown. Beseech you all, my lords, with thoughts so qualified as your charities shall best instruct you, measure me, and so the king's will be performed.
Shall I be heard?
Who is it that goes with me? Beseech your highness. My women may be with me, for you see my plight requires it. Do not weep, good fools, there is no cause. When you shall know your mistress has deserved prison, then abound in tears as I come out. This action I know go on, is for my better grace. Adieu, my lord. I never wished to see you sorrow. Now I trust I shall. My women come, you have leave.
Go, do our bidding. Hence.
Beseech your highness, call the queen again.
Be certain what you do, sir, lest your justice prove violence, in the which three great ones suffer: yourself, your queen, your son.
For her, my lord, I dare my life lay down, and will do it, sir. Please you to accept it, that the queen is spotless, in the eyes of heaven, and to you, I mean in this which you accuse her.
If it proves she's otherwise, I'll keep my stables where I lodge my wife. I'll go in couples with her. Then, when I feel and see her, no farther trust her. For every inch of woman in the world, every dram of woman's flesh, is false if she be.
Hold your pieces.
Good, my lord.
It is for you we speak, not for ourselves. You are abused, and by some put her on that will be damned for't. Would I knew the villain, I would land damn him. Be she honor flawed, I have 3 daughters. The eldest is 11. The second and the third, 9, and some 5. If this prove true, they'll pay for it. By mine honor, I'll geld them all. 14 they shall not see to bring false generations. They are co-heirs, and I had rather glib myself than they should not produce fair issue.
Cease no more. You smell this business with a sense as cold as is a dead man's nose, but I do see it and feel it, as you feel doing thus, and see withal the instruments that feel.
If it be so, we need no grave to bury honesty. There's not a grain of it, the face to sweeten of the whole dungy earth.
What? Lack I credit?
I had rather you did lack than I, my lord, upon this ground, and more it would content me to have her honor true than your suspicion. Be blamed for how you might.
Why need we commune with you this, but rather follow our forceful instigation? Our prerogative calls not your counsels, but our natural goodness imparts this, which if you, or stupefied, or seeming so in skill, cannot or will not relish a truth like this, inform yourselves, we need no more of your advice. The matter, the loss, the gain, the ordering on, 'tis all properly ours.
And I wish, my liege, you had only in your silent judgment tried it without more overture.
That be? Thou art most ignorant by age, or thou wert born a fool. Camillo's flight added to their familiarity, which was as gross as ever touched conjecture, that lacked sight only, not for approbation, but only seeing all other circumstances made up to the deed, doth push on this proceeding, yet for a greater confirmation. For in an act of this importance 'twere most piteous to be wild. I have dispatched a post to sacred Delphos, to Apollo's temple. Cleomenes and Dion, whom you know, of stuffed sufficiency now from the oracle, they will bring all whose spiritual counsel head shall stop or spur me. Have I done well?
Well done, my lord.
Though I am satisfied and need no more than what I know, yet shall the oracle give rest to the minds of others, such as he whose ignorant credulity will not come up to the truth. So have we thought it good. From our free person she should be confined, lest that treachery of the two fled hence be left her to perform. Come, follow us. We are to speak in public, for this business will raise us all.
To laughter, as I take it, if the good truth were known.
Act 2, Scene 2. A chamber in the prison. Enter Paulina.
The keeper of the prison, call to him. Let him acknowledge who I am. Good lady, no court in Europe is too good for thee. What dost thou then in prison? Now, good sir, you know me, do you not?
For worthy lady and one whom much I honor.
Pray you then, conduct me to the queen.
I may not, madam. To the contrary, I have express commandment.
Here's a due to lock up honesty and honor from the access of gentle visitors. Is lawful, pray you, to see her women? Any of them, Amelia?
So please you, madam, to put apart these your attendants. I shall bring Amelia forth.
I pray now call her. Withdraw yourselves.
And madam, I must be present at your conference.
Well, be it so, prithee. Here's much ado to make no stain, a stain that passes coloring. Oh, dear gentle woman, how fares our gracious lady?
As well as one so great and so forlorn may hold together on her frights and griefs, which never tender lady hath borne greater. She is something before her time delivered.
A boy?
A daughter and a goodly babe, lusty and like to live.
Oh.
The queen receives much comfort in it, says, my poor prisoner, I am as innocent as you.
I dare be sworn. These dangerous, unsafe loons of a king, beshrew them. He must be told on't, and he shall. The office becomes a woman best. I'll take it upon me. If I prove honey-mouthed, let my tongue blister, and never to my red-looked anger be the trumpet any more. Pray you, Amelia, commend my best obedience to the queen. If she dares trust me with her little babe, I'll show it to the king and undertake to be her advocate loudest. We do not know how ye may soften at the sight of the child. The silence often of pure innocence persuades when speaking fails.
Most worthy madam, your honor and your goodness is so evident that your free undertaking cannot miss a thriving issue. There is no lady living so meet for this great errand. Please your ladyship to visit the next room. I'll presently acquaint the queen of your most noble offer, who but today hammered of this design, but durst not tempt a minister of honor, lest she should be denied.
And tell her, Amelia, I'll use that tongue I have. If wit flow from it as boldness from my bosom, let not be doubted, I shall do good.
Now be you blessed for it. I'll to the queen. Please you, come something nearer.
Madam, if to please the queen to send the babe, I know not what I shall incur to pass it, having no warrant.
You need not fear it, sir. This child was prisoner to the womb, and is by law of process of great nature, thence freed and enfranchised. Not a party to the anger of the king, nor guilty of, if any be, the trespass of the queen.
I do believe it.
Do not you fear. Upon mine honor, I will stand betwixt you and danger.
Act 2, Scene 3. An antechamber in the palace. Enter Leontes.
Nor night, nor day, no rest. It is but weakness to bear the matter thus, mere weakness. If the cause were not in being, part of the cause, she the adulteress, for the harlot king is quite beyond mine arm, out of the blank and level of my brain, plot-proof. But she, I can hook to me. Say that she were gone, given to the fire, a moiety of my rest, might come to me again. Who's there?
My lord,
How does the boy?
he took good rest tonight. 'Tis hoped his sickness is discharged.
To see his nobleness, conceiving the dishonor of his mother, he straight declined, drooped, took it deeply, fastened and fixed the shame on it in himself, threw off his spirit, his appetite, his sleep, and downright languished. Leave me solely, go, see how he fares. Fie, no thought of him. The very thought of my revenge is that way. Recoil upon me, in himself too mighty, and in his parties his alliance. Let him be, until a time may serve. For present vengeance, take it on her, Camillo and Polixenes. Laugh at me, make their pastime at my sorrow. They should not laugh if I should reach them, nor shall she within power.
You must not enter.
Nay, rather, good my lords, be second to me. Fear you his tyrannous passion more, alas, than the queen's life? A gracious, innocent soul, more free than he is jealous.
That's enough.
Madam, he hath not slept tonight. Commanded none should come at him.
Not so hot, good sir. I come to bring him sleep. 'Tis such as you that creep like shadows by him and do sigh at each his needless heavings, such as you nourish the cause of his awaking. I do come with words as menacing as true. honest as either, to purge him of that humor that presses him from sleep.
What noise is there? Ho!
No noise, my lord, but needful conference about some gossips for your highness.
How? Away with that audacious lady. Antigonus, I charged thee that she should not come about me. I knew she would.
I told her so, my lord. On your displeasure's peril and on mine, she should not visit you.
What? Canst thou not rule her?
From all dishonesty he can. In this, unless he take the course that you have done, commit me for committing honor, trust it, he shall not rule me.
Lie you now, you hear? When she will take the rein, I let her run, but she'll not stumble.
Good, my liege, I come, and I beseech you hear me, who professes myself your loyal servant, your physician, your most obedient counselor, yet that dares less appear so in comforting your evils than such as most seem yours. I say I come from your good queen.
Good queen?
Good queen, my lord. Good queen. I say good queen. And would by combat make her good, so were I a man. The worst about you.
Force her hence.
Let him that makes but trifles of his eyes first hand me. On mine own accord I'll off, but first I'll do my errand. The good queen, for she is good, hath brought you forth a daughter. Here 'tis. Commends it to your blessing.
Out! A mankind witch, hence with her out a door. A most intelligency bawd.
Not so. I am as ignorant as that is you in so entitling me, and no less honest than you are mad, which is enough, I'll warrant, as this world goes, to pass for honest.
Traitors, will you not push her out? The bastard, thou dotard, thou art woman-tired, unrooted by thy Dane partlet here. Take up the bastard. Take it up, I say, give it to thy crone.
Forever unvenerable be thy hands, if thou takest up the princess by that forced baseness which he has put upon it.
He dreads his wife.
So I would you did. Then 'twere past all doubt you'd call your children yours.
A nest of traitors.
I am none by this good light.
Nor I, nor any but one that's here, and that's himself. For he, the sacred honor of himself, his queens, his hopeful sons, his babes, betrays to slander, whose sting is sharper than the swords, and will not, for as the case now stands, it is a curse he cannot be compelled to, once remove the root of his opinion, which is as rotten as ever oak or stone was sound.
A callet of boundless tongue, who late hath beat her husband, and now baits me. This brat is none of mine. It is the issue of Polixenes. Hence with it, and together with the dam, commit them to the fire.
Is yours! And might we lay the old proverb to your charge? So like you, 'tis the worst. Behold, my lords, although the print be little, the whole matter and copy of the father, eye, nose, lip, the trick of his frown, his forehead, nay, the valley, the pretty dimples of his chin and cheek, his smiles, the very mold and frame of hand, nail, a finger, and thou, good goddess nature, which hast made it so like to him that got it. If thou hast the ordering of the mind too, amongst all colors, no yellow lint, lest she suspect as he does, her children, not her husband's.
A gross hag. And Losel, thou art worthy to be hanged, that wilt not stay her tongue.
Hang all the husbands that cannot do that feat, you'll leave yourself hardly one subject.
A most unworthy and unnatural lord can do no more.
I'll have thee burnt.
I care not. It is a heretic that makes the fire, not which she burns in it. I'll not call you tyrant, but this most cruel usage of your queen, not able to produce more accusation than your weak-hinged fancy, something savors of tyranny, and will ignoble make you, yea, scandalous to the world.
On your allegiance, out of the chamber with her. Were I a tyrant, where were her life? She durst not call me so. If she did know me one, away with her.
I pray you do not push me. I'll be gone. Look to your babe, my lord. 'Tis yours. Jove send her a better guiding spirit. What needs these hands? You are that thus so tender o'er his follies will never do him good. Not one of you. So farewell. We are gone.
Thou traitor hast set thy wife to this. My child, away with it, even thou that hast a heart so tender o'er it. Take it hence, and see it instantly consumed with fire. Even thou, and none but thou, take it up straight. Within this hour bring word 'tis done, and by good testimony, or I'll seize thy life with what thou else call'st thine. If thou refuse, and wilt encounter with my wrath, say so. The bastard brains with these my proper hands shall dash out. Go, take it to the fire, for thou set'st on thy wife.
I do not, sir. These lords, my noble fellows, if they please, can clear me in't.
We can, my royal liege. He is not guilty of her coming hither.
You're liars all.
Beseech your highness, give us better credit. We have always truly served you and beseech so to esteem of us. And on our knees we beg, as recompense of our dear services, past and to come, that you do change this purpose, which being so horrible, so bloody, must lead on to some foul issue. We all kneel.
I am a feather for each wind that blows. Shall I live on to see this bastard kneel and call me father? Better burn it now than curse it then, but be it. Let it live. Shall not neither. You, sir, come you hither. You that have been so tenderly officious with Lady Marjorie, your midwife there, to save this bastard's life, for 'tis a bastard. So sure as this beard gray, what will you adventure to save the brat's life?
Anything, my lord, that my ability may undergo and nobleness impose. At least thus much. I'll pawn the little blood which I have left to save the innocent. Anything possible.
It shall be possible. Swear by this sword thou wilt perform my bidding.
I will, my lord.
Mark and perform. Seest thou, for the fail of any pointant shall not only be death to thyself, but to thy lewd-tongued wife, whom for this time we pardon. We enjoin thee, as thou art liegeman to us, that you carry this female bastard hence, and that you bear it to some remote and desert place, quite out of our dominions, and that there thou leave it without more mercy to its own protection and favor of the climate. As by some strange fortune it came to us, I do in justice charge thee on thy soul's peril and thy body's torture, that thou commend it strangely to some place where chance may nurse or end it. Take it up.
I swear to do this, though present death had been more merciful. Come on, poor babe. Some powerful spirit instructs the kites and ravens to be thy nurses. Wolves and bears, they say, casting their savageness aside, have done like offices of pity. Sir, be prosperous in more than this deed does require. And blessing against this cruelty, fight on thy side. Poor thing. Condemned to loss.
No, I'll not rear another's issue.
Please, your highness, posts from those you sent to the oracle are come an hour since. Cleomenes and Dian, being well arrived from Delphos, are both landed, hasting to the court.
So please you, sir, their speed hath been beyond account.
23 days they have been absent. 'Tis good speed, foretells the great Apollo suddenly will have the truth of this appear. Pray you, lords, summon a session that we may arraign our most disloyal lady, for as she hath been publicly accused, so shall she have a just and open trial. While she lives, my heart will be a burden to me. Leave me, and think upon my bidding.